Well, good day, mates. Welcome to the Dusty Auspex. Hi, friend. Regular host Dan Hewitt. We've got our super regular host. Oh, man. Turn the lights on. Speak up. Anyways, we got Kyle here, and Dusty Auspex regular host. Steve, regular host. I know your line is super regular. Much like a getting the lights on. Speak up! Steve's a big 40K player. He's got lots of armies. Like, you usually show up in tournaments with a different army every time, and I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, I've got like 9 armies.
Yeah, so Steve's going to be joining us on the show. Rory wasn't digging 8th. Totally personal call. And so
taking a pause for now.
Yeah, he's getting into Infinity in a big way, so we might see some stuff from him on that in the future. But in the meantime, we got Steve and Kyle. The dream team. Fabio is probably going to be dropping in, I don't think tonight, but, you know, in future episodes. So
he will be co-host with me.
Oh, wait, he still is. I wasn't 100% sure if that was the case.
He's still going to be co-hosting with me, just, you know, with his busy schedule. Sometimes it's going to be one of you fine gentlemen jumping in.
Well, I think he's the only one of us who is like a business owner.
Plus running, you know, major 40K events.
Yeah, totally. Like
spearheading the 40 goal gaming.
I can't even shave over the course of 5 days. Ugh, I'm disgusting. I look like a tween or something like that. Dirty Sanchez on my face. Anyway,
the dirtiest Sanchez.
Let's not get into Dirty Sanchez's. We just are on the heels of a really cool event that just wrapped up.
Absolutely, 40 Below Expo.
The very first one.
First time we've done a multi-system event, which, in my opinion, is what we need to be heading towards.
It went off
Seeing the enthusiasm.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
You guys were both playing in the 40K end of it.
That's right. We actually ended up playing each other.
We played against each other at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I went into it as a hardcore 8th hater, and having played enough games with enjoyable opponents, I finally saw how the meta shifted.
You saw what I was talking about, right? Yeah.
So before, I was still trying to play 7th games with 8th rules, and now I'm like, okay, it's a little bit more different. It's a bit like... It's like a video game almost, where like the heroes kind of roll on their own, or they buff the guys around them.
It kind of is. We've been taught for so long that the characters and the heroes are like barrel in and smack the crap out of everyone.
Exactly.
They're more what they should be doing now, in the sense that they're buffing the army. They're giving you the important bits.
You know what? I played a game against 2 guys who it was Jonathan Plouffe, and I can't remember his opponent's name.
Oh my god, I feel so bad about this because
Dale.
Was it Dale?
Yeah,
perfect,
so
because
those
I kept
guys
blanking
used
on his name as well.
Their HQs were awesome. Yes. Both of them were kitted out the exact same, but one was Chaos and one was Space Marine. And then they would fly them over and then just dip them in the back to pop tanks or assault, you know,
which
stuff
was really
on turn
ideal.
1. Yeah. It was.
We played
different.
in round 2 and they tabled us.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. They were a tough run for the whole tournament.
They brought. Actually, it was really cool to see Slanesh for the first time in Chaos Space Marines, because that's one CSM army that you almost never see. I always thought they were super cool. They get like buffs to speed and initiative and shit. And well,
I feel they've always been like the neglected, or at least in the last couple editions, they've been the neglected god for the demon gods.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think they're in a decent place right now. I've even toyed around with the idea of a Slanesh demon army just based on the speed that you've got through them. There's an insane amount of mortal wounds that you can deal out. So.
Slanesh is my favorite Chaos God, actually.
Oh yeah.
And I've been in the hobby since the early '90s. I remember the old Realms of Chaos books, and I just thought it was like super evil.
It is neat.
I've actually got 2 of those Realm of Chaos ones. I got the Nurgle and the Corn, and they're super great reads.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's totally like a perfect vibe for a Chaos army. You know, because like creepy kinky, that is one element that. You know, creepiness can go down.
I like that they started pushing the excess end of it a little bit more instead of just the sexualization end of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
It used to just be like, put 6 tits on everyone. No shirts. Yeah. Maybe don't wear a bra next time.
How many nipples can we fit on this model?
All
the crab claws.
You can grab the 6th breast, but it'll snip your dick off.
Although I have to admit, the old Juan Diaz sculpts for the Demonettes are just gorgeous sculpts. Like they're.
Yeah, actually, there's been a couple cool iterations of the Demonettes.
Yeah.
And actually, I always thought the coolest were the ones that were riding those like snake things that had an anteater mouth. Yeah.
I love the Seekers. They're
so
really
neat.
quick.
I don't know if that's still the model they use or not, but yeah, okay, cool.
Well, kind of.
Yeah, just maybe an updated version, or who knows.
It's more like a steed, but it's got the anteater mouth going still.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Oh, I see Logan just joined. I got to give Logan a shout out.
you shaved your beard off at the event, and I actually thought you were just some other person. And then when you won your award, I went, oh, shit. So
Oh, I do know
I
this
should
guy.
have said hi to you. I walked by you numerous times just thinking, you know, you could be some guy named Daryl for all I know.
So you weren't
Like,
just being ignorant.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, got
Oh,
it.
man.
Logan.
It's okay, Logan. We love you still.
Actually, now's a great time to shout out PvP Cyber Lounge. We're hanging out here on Pembina Highway. Got some sweet food going on now. That wasn't a thing
Absolutely.
before.
We've
so
got some nuggets.
I got sweet nugs right here.
The nugs.
Nice and hot
Now,
and crispy nugs.
how are those? Because I haven't tried them yet.
Actually, they're quite good.
They're good.
I think
yeah,
they're, I would suggest them.
I was trying the wings earlier. The salt and pepper ones, very tasty as well. So
Looks like producer Scott's eating something. Or what is that?
It's like French fries.
more nugs.
Okay, yeah, more. Your
Nugs,
nugs look
nugs
different
and
than mine.
fries.
They're lightly fried.
Oh, I see.
Yours had more.
I got
different
dark
type.
nugs.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
got light nugs.
So,
Let the world continue.
anyone else stand out as opponents for you guys?
Actually, I don't know. I think there's value in going through the day. Steve, why don't you kick it off and let us
Yeah,
know about
sure
the
thing.
games you guys played?
We played a couple of young fellas that I can't recall their names. They were Tyranids and Harlequins. That was our first game.
Yes.
And Matt Keller.
Who
and-
took the presentation?
You
home?
guys were on the
Eric,
table
maybe?
right next to us.
Yeah, we were playing next to you. And they were good players. My one little free bit of advice I would give is read all of the codexes, because there was a point where he was swinging a power sword at me with Eldar guy. He's like, oh yeah, strength 4. No, it's strength 3. It's like, no, it's +1. It's strength 4. No, it's strength 3. Check your codex. So it
Okay,
makes
yeah.
a difference. Know your opponent's stuff.
Martin and I would have had no idea.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
And the
I
difference
think
between
you
strength
had
3
to
and
check
4
the
is
Codex
big.
Mormon too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I'll get into
Yeah.
that later. That was bad.
So we ended up, Ovi and I ran, Ovi is, I'm Greybeard with, Ovi's my partner. We
Yes.
ran,
Actually, yeah, we should shout out Greybeards. You guys have been a
Greybeards.
sponsor since the
Greybeards.
start. Now we
Oh,
got
you
one
did
on the
also
show.
give me a
Beards
beard
out
rub,
there.
so
yeah,
Good
we've
shout
got
out.
about 6 guys in our group of Greybeards.
including the no beards.
Including the no beards, yeah. We just had a new beard join us, Mike Stozel.
Excellent, excellent. I've
So-
been seeing him get into it at the store lately.
Yeah,
and,
he's a new player. He's really enthusiastic.
Yeah,
It's cool.
Gave his son a little advice on Siege because he was getting into that. So
I like
yeah,
Mike too.
Yeah.
Mike's
he's a
watching
good-
actually
he's a
right
good
now.
guy.
So
He's a good
shout out to Mike.
Shout out to Mike. Yeah, we ran dual Storm Ravens with chapter master buffs, so we're re-rolling misses, and it worked really well. Well, we played against you.
Yeah, we
So-
witnessed that firsthand.
Yeah, so, and round 2, I made a mistake and ended up losing us. We ended up getting tabled. That was my fault. And
There was
then-
some kind of Storm Raven mess
Yeah,
up
I
in
was.
there?
I let my Storm Raven get surrounded. It was full of Death Company.
Oh,
and it
the
got,
classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got surrounded by cultists and
Yeah.
destroyed and lost about 450 points worth of troops.
That hurt.
1,000 points. It's pretty bad.
I tabled Reds like that once.
Yeah, so
surrounded
did-
the Storm Raven. He had the Death Company,
Yep.
Gabriel Seth, and the Dreadnought in the back.
It sucks when you
Oh,
do it. You
woof.
feel bad when you do it to someone, and like, kudos to Jonathan because he bought me a beer. He just afterwards he came up. He's like, "I'm sorry, man." And he just gave me a beer. I was like, "Hey, it happens, right?"
That was
was
one thing I
feeding us
noticed.
jelly
The
beans during
sportsmanship
the
was
game.
really
Yeah.
high at this event.
Yeah.
It
Everyone
was actually a
seemed to be
super
doing
good
really
crew.
good.
Yeah.
A lot of new faces too.
Yep, that was exciting. That was really encouraging to see.
It was awesome. And then last game we played against you.
Yeah, game 3 was a spicy meatball.
It was good. It was fun.
We
And little
managed to
shout out
down
to
those
Riley.
Ravens.
He's watching
but,
with Mike.
Oh, hey.
Yo, what up, Riley? So yeah, we managed to down those Ravens somewhat early, but then we couldn't actually pull it off. Still, it was not like, I mean, it was a nice thing that we shot the planes down, but at the end of the day, we just couldn't make it work. So
You have to dedicate so much in taking them down. That the rest
oh,
of the
yeah.
army is sitting there still.
oh yeah, and by the time that we shot them down, they were close enough that when the guys came out of them after exploding, they were just like, bleh, like on
They
us
delivered their
immediately.
payload, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it was it was Big Guns Never Tire again, or They Still Never Tire. So
Yeah.
heavy support were worth victory point, and we didn't
That's
have
right.
any in our list because
And
we're
Martin-
kind of cheesy that way.
Martin was playing a spearhead detachment and like literally
Yeah,
only
it was
had heavy
all
support.
heavy
Oh,
support.
no way.
Yeah.
So yeah, we played the mission.
I had
so we
one.
just
I
went
think
after
Martin
him.
had 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was.
So you guys were primed to
We
lose
were
that
just-
one.
yeah, there was,
okay,
like-
that's fair.
They
That's
were on
fair.
their back foot. Just
Unless we could take secondary, which technically wasn't secondary, but the other 4-point reward, which was objectives, plus like a line breaker and a first strike and all that. That was the only chance we stood, and it would still be tight anyway because they're
Yeah.
gonna kill a heavy support. I mean,
Yeah,
that's all
sure.
Martin
Obi
has.
and I
so-
were on easy mode on that game, and we
totally.
You know, of course, we're not going to take it easy on you.
Well, that's how the
it's-
scenarios
yeah,
happen
game three,
sometimes.
yeah.
Exactly.
For Martin and I played with Martin Navarro. Martin and Dan are coming with an OM and 1M. And our first game was good against John and Dale, and John kept feeding us jelly beans the whole time. Every time he would kill something of ours, he'd be this
Here's a
giant
jelly bean.
bag.
Yeah.
You want one? And they're like, thank you. So that was a super fun game to play. We kind of got hurt pretty bad. Like I was bringing 1,000 points of orcs. I had a 30-man mob with choppers and shit. I had a 10-man or an 11-man squad with a war boss and a truck. And then I had a unit of 9 knobs and a big mech inside a squiggoth. And so I got the squiggoth like only a little bit out in this first game. And I noticed that the way the turns were going, it wasn't going to see any action.
Sure.
So I jumped the knobs out, used the weird boy to teleport them in
Thank
front
you.
of the
That's
cultists.
beautiful.
Yeah, and I was like, these guys got to do something. So I'd already like weird boyed 30 boys all the way to the back, where they had 3 Earthshaker platforms. So I was just
Yeah,
kind
I
of
remember.
skipping.
Sort of shakers are rough.
Yeah, they're
Oh
bad.
yeah, they are very rough. So I ended up getting the boys to deal with those, and then the knobs went after these cultists. Get into combat, they kill 15 of them immediately, like which is half the unit. And then the very next turn, of course, because it's 8th edition, cultists run away.
Everyone opens up.
Just shoots the piss out of these knobs, like till there's 3 of them left, and then his demon prince is just like, "Good afternoon," like eats like the last 3, and I'm like,
Well,
oh,
naturally.
there's
It's
literally
what they're-
nothing I
it's
can
what
do
they're for
about
now.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. That's one element of this game that I keep forgetting about is voluntary fallbacks.
Yeah.
like the withdrawal is so
And
strong.
There's some elements of 8th. You got to remember it's a different game. It's not 7.5 or 7 slightly different. It's a different
Yes,
game.
it
Yeah,
absolutely.
You got to
absolutely.
be thinking. If you're not thinking 2 or 3 turns ahead, you're going to lose. It's just that simple.
I agree.
It's
Yeah,
true.
totally.
It's true. It does require a little bit more planning out than previous editions did.
Yep.
I think it's especially important for things like you've got the rerolls and the modifiers.
Yep.
That's a new thing.
Yep.
A lot of people aren't looking at it in what I think is the way that GW is intending.
Right.
You get +1 here to hit, and instead of saying, "Oh, I'm rolling and my 3s are to hit,"
Yeah.
and then I'm adding 1 to the dice rolls.
Right.
Yeah.
They're looking at, "Oh, I'm hitting on 2s."
Yeah.
And
Which,
it's not
well,
that way.
technically, yes, the 2s are hitting with the modifier.
Right.
But in actuality, those 2s have become 3s, etc., all the way up to the 6s becoming 7s.
Yep.
There's certain effects, like Tesla, where if it's a 6+, it goes off.
Yep.
So the 5s are doing it and the 6s are doing it.
Game
It's a very
mechanics are
important
so
distinction.
different now.
And
Yep.
that specifically happened to me in
Yep.
game 2. I was firing my Storm Raven at another Storm Raven, and it's -1 to hit. And I have rerolls with my Chapter Master with Commander Dante. So I roll all my dice. The 3s hit.
Yes,
But then I'm
at
a
that
-1.
point, they're still
the
hitting.
3s go
Yeah.
to a 2, right? So I don't get to re-roll the 3s, and I was just re-rolling everything that didn't hit,
Yeah.
right? So 3s, 2s, and 1s I was
Because
re-rolling. I
technically,
should
they
not have
still
re-rolled
hit
the
at that
3s.
point.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
they tabled us, so I don't really feel that bad, but
Steve Riley's saying thank you for the Chaos Marines.
right on, Riley. You're welcome, my man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anytime we get
Enjoy.
young bloods
I
going
want
in,
to see him painted up
exactly.
sooner than later.
And I want to see that Siege stuff coming out.
Yep.
Game 2 for Martin and Dan are coming.
Oh,
This was
This
my
was
favorite
the one,
like
right?
moment
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
So we're playing against 2 really nice dudes. One of his name was Bill. I can't remember his buddy's name, but he added me on Facebook because I was going to sell him some Tyranids. Tyranids and Inari. Mostly Eldar. Like we're talking
Yeah.
Wave Serpents, 2
Yeah.
of them, which are so hard to kill for the record.
they
Like,
honestly are at the moment.
Yeah.
It's a difficult prospect.
the
for them.
wound reductions
Yes.
and the saves that they can make, and then there was one other thing too that I think helps it.
See, I haven't played enough
recall.
Eldar in this edition to really have all
Anyways,
those out.
they
but
were
yeah.
a total pain in the ass. But he sets up Dark Reapers on the top floor of an apartment building,
I
and-
thought this is where you were going.
and
okay.
Yvrain on the floor below it.
Yeah.
So, naturally, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to fling 30 orc boys at the base of that building and then climb it like it's, like King Kong looking for his prize.
Scale in the building.
And so, turn 1, we set up. Martin learnt a harsh lesson on deploying things within the range of other very deadly things. He
yes.
put his las cannon devs within the 48 that the Dark Reapers needed.
Dark Reapers are brutal.
They
So-
all sit on 3s.
Eldar go first. Psychic phase, Yvrain casts a Soul Burst.
Yep.
Dark Reapers fry like 3 of the las cannon guys.
Yep.
So then actual shooting phase starts, and then they kill like 2 more of them. So there goes like all of Martin's stuff, and it's all just in one turn. And I was like, well, I think we learned an important lesson today. So our turn comes around, I fling the boys, they make it. and then I roll, like I move some other stuff out of, distance, because there's like a huge, I should also mention, it's like a massive Tyrannid swarm coming at us as well.
Of
like
course,
there's, I think 40 Termagants, and then like a Turvagon, and like it was like 8 warriors or something,
Nice thing is,
or
if you
6
kill
warriors.
that Turvagon in the middle of the Termagants, there's so much damage
Man,
it deals
we
out.
fried that thing.
Yeah.
We didn't know that though, and that didn't happen. But for the record, it just got pulled off the table. But basically, like Martin put everything into it. He's like, "What should I shoot at?" I'm like, "Shoot the giant Tyrannid that's going to keep replenishing Tyrannids."
That's actually an excellent strategy right there.
We got Slay the Warlord from that.
Oh.
And then on the assault phase, I made the 9 inches that I needed to climb the building.
Yes, this was the impressive part.
I killed Yvraine with like... It was actually kind of silly. I think it took 2 rounds, but I killed her with 3 Orc Boys, because only the guys on that floor could hit her.
Yep.
Because it's a 3-inch
Yeah.
gap on each floor. So I couldn't get to the Dark Reapers, but I got to her, and then in my pile-in, I got to the Dark Reapers.
Yep.
So the Dark Reapers got to hit me, and I was like, fine.
Sure, poke
I
me.
literally jam-packed every single orc into this building.
Yeah, this was
just
the impressive
barely.
part. I walked by after you had put them all in there,
It's like-
and you've got like this literal tower crammed with orcs, like
I think
all
there's
3
a photo
floors.
somewhere of it,
I've
but
got
yeah,
it.
like
I've got it for
it's
sure.
like
Wow.
there was one guy on the main floor and then 29 of them in this apartment building.
I'll put
So
it up on the 40
Yeah,
mil
for
later.
sure.
We got like a double Slay the Warlord on the first turn,
Nice.
and then after that, some Banshees hopped out. This was the best part though, and like tactically, this was also a big part of it. I knew that if I whipped all those boys to the back of the battlefield, some of the Nids would turn around.
Yeah.
So, and they did, and some of the Eldar did too.
Yeah, of course.
So one of the
You're putting the
serpents
distraction there.
poops out some Howling Banshees. They just start like screaming and running into the
man.
apartment building. They kill a few orcs. The orcs then like really give it back to them after like I think 2 turns of combat. And then the serpents went on to like just harass the shit out of us. And then the Nids, sadly, never made it into combat.
That's too bad.
Yeah, but they got a shitload of shots at the orc boys in the building. Like the boys ended up, I think, taking the most from
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Termagants.
but that's what they're fine.
I mean, Termagants are wicked. 3 shots
Yeah.
apiece,
Yeah.
18 inches.
Yes, we would have upgraded to not the flesh boars, but the devourers, I think.
Yes, yeah, they all had devourers. Yeah, and
Which
so
makes them a
million
little
shots.
pricier because they're 4 points base.
Yeah, I think he was
0 for the
rolling,
flesh
like,
boars.
40 of them.
It should put it close to 6 each at that point, or
Yeah.
7 at that point.
So Eldar in close combat, Banshees in when you're fighting they're strength 3, right?
That's right,
Strength
and orcs are toughness 4. And you know
So-
what also sucks too is they were outnumbered like crazy. There's only 5 of them.
In any step of the process, whether it's hitting or wounding or whatever, if your opponent's doing it on 5s or 4s, like you're a flyer, it makes a huge difference. That's why those buffs, those reroll buffs, are so crucial. Now, when Eldar charge me in close combat, if it's like Banshees and they're strength 3, I'm really not worried about if I'm running Marines or anything with a toughness 5. I'm just like, oh, cool.
yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what you
Catch
mentioned
you
the,
on the hit back. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you mentioned the flyers.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Now, Logan's talking about his Poxwalker squad getting up to 45 against Nid Gaunt's, and, throwing a large group of infantry into Poxwalkers is literally the last thing you want to do with it. Because with the Poxwalkers, every time they get that kill in close combat, one of them's back.
Especially with a 6-up save.
Yeah, and unlike some things, like my Horrors splitting, which I'm always going to harp on until they change it, you can take the Poxwalkers above the maximum unit size. And then you don't have to pay points for each of the new guys you're generating.
What do you guys think about proxied models? Speaking of Logan's
Oh.
Poxwalkers, because I don't have a problem with it. I think they're fine. They're zombies or Nazi zombies.
You know
they're
what?
fine. They're fine by me,
As
but
long
some people
as
have a problem.
if a proxy, in my mind, follows the rules of you can tell what you're looking at,
Okay.
similar loadout, that kind of thing, it seems to me that's the
So
threshold.
if you're doing, say, conscripts,
Sure.
you want to see las guns on them.
I
You don't
wanna
want to
see
see a
las
pistol.
guns.
You don't want to see a beast man with a club. You want to see a las gun on it.
Preferably, even with the Beastman, if they
Yeah.
put like a lasgun up here and he's still waving the club
But
around,
not a las pistol.
unless
right?
that's what they're armed with, right?
Right, sure.
Exactly, because that's what you want to keep is as close to the original
Yeah,
warrior as
just
possible.
as long as the weapon is WYSIWYG, I don't care about the guy. you
The
know?
other side of it
Don't put a
is-
cat turd and
Eh,
stick
well,
it.
Or a
that
bag of
goes
rubber
back
ducks.
to the story I like to
Yeah.
tell about Brendan and Grand Forks and the rubber ducks.
Yeah,
I'm a big conversions guy, and I really like outside the box stuff.
me too.
One of my, I have no issue playing against it. If it were me, I would try and find a way to just source a whole bunch of 28 mil bases and then put them on those.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
flat base
sure.
kind of takes it outside of that 40k universe.
Yeah,
Again,
they
Logan,
they
I have
should be
no
based.
issues playing against it.
No problem.
absolutely.
But-
Not to call you out, Logan.
But yeah, I
your
think
army
that
looks
that
great.
would.
But it is a
that
good
would help,
conversation to have, especially in regards to tournaments. 8th is much more of a strict on the conversion than the Wissy rate.
Yep.
It has to be close to.
And I
what
brought it up
is.
specifically because he had some issue at the shop. When he went to the shop, you can't bring non-games
Oh.
workshop.
That's
stuff
because they're
into the
non-games
shop.
workshop models.
And that's a rule. That's a hard, fast rule. At
They've
Games Workshop.
adjusted it now, so it has to be now 75% of the model is GW product.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty rough now if you're a converter. It
Yeah.
used to be 50, but now with the events that they're putting on and getting back into sponsoring the tournaments, they've done it as
You
a
know
hard
what?
and fast.
They're a corporation.
Yeah.
They're a for-profit
They're-
corporation.
exactly.
It's not
And
a
if you want to
government.
play in
Exactly.
their house, like you went to my grandpa's place. He was in the army, and you wore a hat. You got in shit.
Of
You
course.
went to his house. You don't wear a hat.
Of course,
You go into Games
yeah.
Workshop. You don't bring
the
non-Games
rules
Workshop
that you deal
models.
with.
That's their house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? At the end of the day,
as long as it doesn't require, like the Army doesn't require a sheet telling you what every single guy is, and you have
Yeah.
to spend the whole game going back and forth. Like, is this
I
or
want to
is this
see.
one
I want to
this?
look at it and know what it is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I
Yeah.
can't, then there's an issue,
'Cause
right? Like
a good conversion is something that should be encouraged in my mind.
And like if I was in a tournament and somebody had a bunch of things that weren't armed properly, I might have like if they conscripts, it's you get a frag grenade and a las gun for
Sure.
a conscript. If they had a bunch of guys with pistols and maces, like I mean, I know what they are. I can, but I would prefer.
it
kind of
does
annoys
it does
me.
break the immersion a little
Yeah,
bit. It does.
If you take a rhino and you take an additional stormbolter on it, model it, put another stormbolter
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
So I know there's two stormbolters. Go,
Yeah.
oh, there's an extra one. Like, you know what, man? You have a bunch of stuff. I'm remembering my stuff. I already forget my rules. I don't need to remember yours.
Well, that's the thing is there is so much to keep track of
Yeah.
in the games that
It has
adding
to
those
be
extra
Wizzy.
layers, it kind of breaks
Yeah.
the gaming etiquette level
Yeah.
in my mind.
Yep.
Ovi is asking about what I think about the AdMech getting the next codex after Death Guard, and I'm very excited about that. I didn't expect either Demons or AdMech to get anything until after Christmas, so this is perfect.
Don't worry, Obi. You'll be excited about it too.
Yeah, right. 7 Forge
There'll
rolls.
be some robots coming in our direction.
Oh man, I cannot emphasize how good those are enough.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
expecting to see some changes in the book, maybe a points bump one way or the other, but I'd still run them.
when do you guys think Space Marine quad mortars will get back into the rules section?
I don't know. That's a really weird one in my mind.
I can't believe they missed that. I
I
was
think that
scanning
was-
forums today looking for stuff for an answer.
Is
even
it still in
from-
the index?
No, it's not
this
on the
would be
index.
Forge Rules. It would have been
It's just
Forge
like-
Rules
Forge Rules Index.
or should have
Oh,
been.
should have been. Okay.
Same thing with the Orc Mega Dread. No entry. Kill Tank is
Have
a
you
different
guys
chassis.
seen the Imperial Guard, Astra Militarum Cyclops, the little bomb tanks?
Yes, I've actually played against that a
Yeah,
couple
I've
times.
heard they're quite good.
They are hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
Guy I was against was playing Elysian, so he deep struck it behind my AdMech.
Oh, nice.
And it was like, well, I can't let that get to the line and explode because that's
Yeah.
a lot of 2d6s. And it's like the 7th edition Novas. It'll hit everything in the range. It's not just one unit taking it.
Yep.
So I ran my Tech Priest Dominus over to it and tried to chop it in half. Only took 2 wounds off, and then it just kind of
And then it
fizzled
blew
out
up?
right there.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It blew up, but it did nothing to me. I saved everything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Jason Wells says quad mortars for Marines are in the Guard Codex. I read online that those are actually just for Guard, and oh my god, where did you find that? I thought this was
We
gone
have a
forever.
classic. We have a classic returning.
I don't know if it's gonna work.
Where
Oh,
did
it'll
it come
work.
from?
It's like super tight.
Honestly, I thought this was like totally.
Shove it down.
Totally
Shove it till it
gone.
fits.
The Rhino necklace returns. Oh, I see why
Oh,
it's
an
tight.
old school rhino necklace. Man, look at this.
Have you not seen this bad girl? Oh shit.
Yeah, this was back in the original.
We're just a little twisty right now.
It's a little twisty. Logan makes an excellent point. He used his zombie proxies because at the time in 7th edition there was no flag models on.
True.
Or flag zombie
Good
model.
point. And we're not picking on you, Logan, at all.
I am
It was
aware.
just an example. I think it looks fun.
I got a little bit of a grudge against them. They keep eating my brimstone horrors.
Oh, yeah. Well, get better.
Spam more smite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, as I was saying, Logue Dog, I love a good conversion, so not to worry.
Yeah, definitely.
This is my
Apparently they
first
have
edition
quad
Rhino
movers in
necklace.
the Imperial Armor
FAQ. All right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you guys had positive experiences at the 40K end of the
Oh,
year,
it
so
was great.
I had a
This
wicked day.
venue is amazing.
What did you think of being at the new venue?
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's really
great.
good, yeah.
Just walking
The
around,
staff
it
is
felt great,
is
but-
nice. It's very bright and open.
Yes.
It doesn't like Our
We-
old one
we
was
have
fine,
room.
but this isn't closed.
We
I
have
like it a
room
lot
to
better.
spread,
Yeah,
for sure.
There's
We have
lots of
room to
space.
spread.
They have a wicked
We do.
bar.
Yeah.
Like they make really good cocktails here, as I've said on
do?
previous shows. Yeah,
Yes.
they got
The,
really good stuff.
food,
the Caesar's
But now
killer.
they got food too.
It's limited
Yeah.
menu, but it is tasty.
And I felt bad because I was on T3s that day, so I couldn't drink, or I would, it would be like
You
a
would
little.
not-
not with
I'd
that
be like-
attitude, you can't.
I'd be like, hey guys, here's 45 minutes of Lil Wayne.
Yeah, there
and
we
then
go,
I just
$4
start like,
Caesars.
just
Like, that's
shouting,
amazing.
rap music. It would be awful. But otherwise, I would have been just living it up right next to you
All right.
guys. I should mention though, my big mistake of the tournament.
Yes, this was your
So,
second round?
It dawned on me in the second round. I was using a Battle Scribe printout, like an idiot.
I'm going to interject and say with Battlescribe, always double check your books.
Yeah, so
Yeah, always.
I thought my Squiggoth just had strength and toughness, and you just rolled your armor saves. Well, it turns out his attacks are like 5 attacks, strength user, which was like 7, I think, or 6.
Yeah.
And
I had a
negative
minus on
4,
the AP.
negative 4 AP, D6 damage.
And he's hitting it
D6
as
damage.
no
I'm like,
AP,
Make an armor
User
save.
strength,
Like,
single damage.
Yeah.
oh man!
That's
But
a
you know
big-
what? It had nothing. Like there was nothing in Battle Scribe. It was just like Laba, which is a gun that sucks,
Yeah.
quite frankly.
It's
so,
true. None of the others were in there. You showed me what was set
Yeah,
up
I
and-
was like
Gotta
aghast.
have your codex.
Oh man,
Yeah, I
you
didn't
really
have
do.
the index on
really,
hand, so-
really use the book.
Yeah.
That's all I can really stress.
All right, well, I'm going to jump in and cover the Sigmar and the Infinity end of the tournament
Cool.
very quickly. Sigmar, we had 8 players show up. We had
replenish
12
our
spaces
drinks.
total, so it was good that we had enough to run the event. We had very positive feedback from the members, from what I understand, from the guys who were playing over there. And very good games for the most part. We saw some armies that you don't see as much in Sigmar. You saw
Why is
some
that?
Death armies show up.
Are they not good?
They're a little bit harder to run.
Okay.
In the sense that there's more toys for the other armies right now.
Okay. So
Right.
have they not had a book in a while then?
It's been a little while since the update. Their Flesh Eaters Codex was the last real death update, and that was before the first General's Handbook. So they missed out on some of those fancy things in there. Now, with the 2017 version coming out, they've updated all these ones that didn't have the more updated version, where there was the relics, where there's the different spells and the formations and all
Right.
of that. So any army that didn't have that is now caught up, which means
Okay.
death is a little bit better than they were.
Is that the one with those really cool? I know Eric from Brandon has been posting about them.
Yes.
He's making demon princes
I
with them?
can't remember the proper name for them, but they're
Morghast
basically
or something?
Morghast.
Yeah.
Morghast.
Yeah.
They came out when they did the End Times, when they killed off Fantasy.
Okay.
Quite a popular conversion for demon princes.
Oh, man,
and by
they're
conversion I mean proxy.
such
because all you
nice
have to
models.
do is put the models out.
Yeah.
There's nothing you need to do to them.
Yeah. Honest to God, I think it's fantastic for a demon prince. And actually, you
Yeah.
know what? Speaking of like just kind of getting off here, getting off topic, not just getting off, ladies. Is I was thinking about if I wanted to make a Nurgle demon prince because I kind of get tired of kind of seeing that one guy with the huge hand that everyone converts.
Yeah.
I was like
the big standard fist in the
the
kit,
actual
yeah.
like demon
Yeah.
prince model. He's like, my hand is so big,
Touch me.
ladies. Female elephants.
Oh, God.
Anyway,
Have you ever watched American Horror Story?
no.
Okay. Season 4, freak show, they've got a guy called Lobster Boy, and it reminds me of that every time I look at it.
Well, I was thinking, what would make a really cool? Because usually in the fluff, it's like an aspiring champion or like a chaos lord or something that's like,
Who's Ascendant?
ooh, I feel good today, and then he like turns into a demon prince. I was like, how could I make one that still has power armor and looks cool, but what model could I use? And I remembered years ago, you'd remember this, and I think you might, but you started relatively
2012.
Yeah. Do you remember the 54 millimeter Inquisitor models?
Yes,
do.
actually.
Yeah. Buy a
Yes, I
Marine
do. Yep.
and then convert the piss out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he would be larger than the rest of them, all that kind of thing.
Yep.
I think it would be a really strong idea, but anyway, that's getting
No,
off
I think
topic.
that would be really good. I think
Yeah.
that would be a really cool
You
idea.
just take that and put some spray foam in it.
Just fill him out a
Put a
bit.
tentacle on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so from what I observed at the Sigmar event, because of course I was admitting, so I was floating between 40k and Sigmar and Infinity, trying
Yeah.
to keep things as smooth as possible, keep everyone on time. It seemed everyone was really having fun, they were really into it. You had
Yep.
guys who hadn't played each other before, groups that hadn't mixed before getting to play. nice variety of armies. You had there's 4 main groups. There's Order, Destruction, Chaos, and Death.
Okay.
Each of those had at least one army there, so that was pretty cool. It was wide represented. Yeah, I think they had a good time, and I would like to think that if we put on another event, we'd get a few more people coming out for Sigmar.
Those
That's
models
kind of what we
are
wanted.
beautiful. The Age of Sigmar models are just
They are
beautiful.
gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
They
It's
are.
like
Yeah.
it's pulling me. I'm like, I only want one hobby that takes all my time. I don't
Yeah.
want to split it up. I already
Yeah.
like I have kids. I have a life.
That's why I do the demons. I get to do both, and
That's right,
that's
yeah.
it.
Yep. You just
You know.
you can dance that razor blade between the two.
I thought about doing orcs.
Shout out from Yuri watching us from Guns N' Roses.
Hey, Yuri.
Oh my god,
right.
really? Damn
Guns N'
your
Roses,
traffic.
not in my lifetime tour, because I ain't going.
Right?
Well, I tell you, the traffic here was sure fun to get through. God, it was like Pembina Highway. It was like gridlock, man.
It was, and I was all like, "Hey, I get to come by the perimeter. I'm gonna dodge most of this crap." No, I forgot I had to go by GW to do a trade,
Oh.
so I ended up having to go around. And
Yeah, I made the
Anyway.
mistake. I went down Bishop too, and then got owned. I don't think you could really come at it from any direction.
No, there- no.
I came
there
at
was-
the perimeter. I came
Yeah.
around the
How
perimeter.
is that okay?
It was fine.
It was busy, but it was
Yeah.
okay. I worked until 5 o'clock today, and then I drove from Arborg, Manitoba.
Nice.
So
Oh,
I
wow.
commute an hour and a half to come and do this podcast.
This is how
That's
much Steve is
so
devoted.
got
If we can
dedication.
touch on that just quickly, thanks very much for letting me be on the podcast. I really wanted to be
Not
a
at
part of
all.
it. I heard you guys were
We did
hosting, and I
have
was a
an
little bit
availability, so-
envious when it started, right?
Not a
Oh,
problem.
yeah.
Because I really
Yeah.
wanted to do it, so I'm stoked.
Well,
and
we're glad you can make the drive
excited.
out because it is
Yeah.
a drive for you.
It
you
is.
know?
It
It's
absolutely
like we
is.
live in
pleasure.
California or something, and there's the towns.
right?
People have to get between the towns.
Crazy.
You know what that's like.
Crazy.
I wish I lived in
So then I
For
guess
the record,
Infinity
too,
would
we
be
should
wild.
say. Oh, sorry,
Oh,
Kyle.
yeah, go
Yeah,
for it, go for it.
we're on. It's PvP Cyber Lounge near the perimeter, Pembina Highway.
27.95, Kevin.
That's right. All right, hit us with Infinity.
All right. Now, I know there's some guys in the chat that aren't as Infinity enthused. I'll keep this a little briefer. I'm very enthusiastic about the game right now. The event seemed to go incredibly well. We had 12 people participating, which filled all 12 slots that we had available. And most of them were new. It was very interesting. So you had, I think, 6 or 7 of the guys who were newer. So that left us at a very interesting point. Out of the top 5, yes, Yu Jing was actually the winner, Homer. It was pretty interesting. So, out of the top, you had a guy who in our chat we have nicknamed as Yu Jing Scott. He's one of the more experienced in the community right now. Below that, you had 4 guys who just got into it. You had Rory, you had Sid, Juice and Sid have been in a little longer. And then you had Yuri. So 4 guys who are newer and are very enthusiastic.
Paul plays too, eh? Paul Ledford.
Oh, and Paul Ledfries was in there as well. So we
Can't
had
forget
5
Paul.
that
Shout
were
out to
newer.
Paul.
Absolute shout out to Paul. Mr. Drone Flyer Extraordinaire. But yeah, it was an excellent event. Everyone looked like they were really into it. We had some debates going on the boards for a couple days after about, in Infinity, there's intent of movement. So, you declare your action, they have a chance to counter, and then you declare your second action. So if your intent is, my first one I'm moving, so I can't be seen by anyone, you've got a little bit of that back and forth, a bit of that talk where it's like, can you see me? Would it be to hear? Gamer's etiquette kind of thing. So we had an interesting debate back and forth on the finer points of that, and
Did
really
ya?
pushed the community up. Absolutely.
I'm not an Infinity guy. But
I know.
I'm glad that everybody had fun. What I like about it is this low model count. That
Absolutely.
looks nice, and
Absolutely.
the terrain looks really cool.
Although I did discover that you can do a 40 model list and still have 31 points left over.
Shazam!
Shazam.
Shamwow.
We kind of came to the conclusion in the tournament group there for Infinity that if someone wanted to run that, they're going to have each of the models. No proxying, nothing. It's got to be legit.
And 40 Below Gaming is all about different systems and people getting together, having
Absolutely.
fun on the tabletop.
And I know I've mentioned it before. I started gaming in Edmonton. That's where I learned Warhammer. All the major events I went to there were multi-system events. So
My
one of
condolences.
the things I enjoyed the most was you got to see the crossovers, right? You got to see, hey, I've never seen this game played before. It looks really cool.
Yep.
And hey, I found there's a community of guys in the city who are playing it.
Yep.
Like that's
And
very
anything, it's
valuable.
like I have kids. I tell them you got to try it before you can't. Before I say
Exactly.
no, I don't like it. You got to try
Exactly.
it. So
You gotta chew on that broccoli before you spit
I
it
don't
out.
know. I don't know if I like
that's
infinity
fair.
or not. Maybe.
And that's
it's
fair.
very. It's apparently it's really more layered. There's a lot more rules. There's a lot more.
There are rules, but one of the nice things is that they're shared across the armies. So you'll have, say, a combi rifle for the Yu Jing, and it's the same as any of the other factions. It's the exact same stats, same shots, everything. You get, in the special rules for each of the factions, a little bit more of the intricacies. But in terms of the game itself and the complexity, honestly, once you get going and once you start getting the pace of it, no worse than 40k in 7th.
Honestly, I think the only downside to multi-system events would be
How does it compare to Parcheesi?
I think we've got a little bit more complex interaction than with Parcheesi.
I think
but
the only
it's,
downside is that it does pull some players away from other games.
To an extent.
People that I would like to see in a tournament are probably going to pick whichever one they like the most.
Absolutely.
Obviously,
So we
you
just
can't
need
play
more
both.
more
The
players.
flip side of that
We
is
just
it
gotta
opens
put-
up the 40K end
that's
for
right.
newer guys.
That's
Get more
true,
guys
actually.
in.
Yeah, there were a lot of new faces
Now,
at the expo.
One of the
so-
things that I also like about Infinity is that you have a coordinator, a war coordinator in the city, that is Scott Newell, who's one of the guys that's part of our 40 Below Gaming
Yes,
group.
Scott.
Now,
He's doing an
he
excellent
ends
job.
up doing demos for the newer players and helps
Cool.
getting them in and helps instructing them. It's very, very easy to get in under that kind of system because you're learning the steps as you go in an interactive game, as opposed to sitting with a rule book and going, okay, I guess this makes sense.
Cool.
As always, once you play it, it makes a lot easier of a game.
Totally.
Right. Okay. So let's move on from Infinity.
Absolutely. I think that covers our 40 Below Expo very well.
Yeah.
Overall, I would say we're looking at a success for that one.
Cool.
I felt, as an organizer, it went really well and folks seem to be enjoying. Seems from the players' end, you guys enjoyed it and the venue.
Sometimes when I fart,
Absolutely.
it hurts.
Good job.
Sometimes when you fart, it hurts.
Sorry,
Dan, I'd recommend as a preparation to our doctor visit.
Or
So-
maybe I just shouldn't force them out so
We should
hard.
probably touch on the Grey Knight and Chaos Space Marine
Absolutely.
erratas.
Yes.
Absolutely.
have
Nice
you
thing
had
about
a
the
chance?
Grey Knight errata?
Yes.
It's incredibly quick.
It's only 2 items.
2 items. One of them is
getting
clarifying
better at
that
this.
one of the stratagems can only be used once.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't have the Grey Knight's Codex on hand, so I can't remember exactly what that one is.
Well, that's disappointing.
I know.
Just
I
kidding.
don't have that photograph.
The Grey Knights players will know.
The Grey Knights players will know, and
Yeah.
they'll give me crap for it later.
Yeah. What was the other one? Had something to do with the psychic power.
Yeah, it was for Sanctuary.
Sanctuary,
Basically
yeah.
saying that you can cast it on a Grey Knight unit within 12 inches,
Yep.
confirm that 6 was the proper power,
Yep.
but it says it limits it increases your invul save by 1.
Right.
Maximum 3+. So
Yep.
if you're doing it onto Drago, it's not getting any effect. He's not getting a 2+ invul.
And I think we touched on the CSM errata last week briefly.
Very briefly.
Yeah, we talked
Very
about
briefly.
how Thousand Suns and Death Guard can take advantage of the detachments
Yes, that was
and some of those special rules.
Yes, specifically giving permission in the article to use the psychic powers that were given. This one, it also clarified some of the things that people were being a little bit janky about, like, hey, here's a Tzeentch sorcerer with my world leaders. Sorry, Khorne and Tzeentch is not mixing. So they laid out some very specific, these keywords cannot
Follow
be
your
used.
keywords, yeah,
That's
you know,
good.
like
Yeah.
And it should.
Yeah.
the
It
goal
should
of the
be a
game
synergy,
now
right?
is to be an army and not just like a smattering of guys who came together. Like
Overall, it was just some very minor tweaks to clarify things. Nothing major, nothing that really is breaking.
like 40K shouldn't be like a D&D team. It should be like a horde of an army. You know what I mean?
Well, an army generally is an army. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's
It's not
not
like,
I'm gonna
we got
take,
one from there and
yeah,
one
exactly.
from there.
It's not a bunch of individuals.
You have people who train
Exactly.
together, come up in the same place.
Although if
that
you
sort
looked
of
at some
thing.
of the recent tournament lists, you would think otherwise.
Oh, is Super Friends back?
Imperial Soup. Well, even now,
No.
Imperial Soup.
No, they've
Like-
got an assassin super friends now.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
The
Low
idea
model
behind
count.
this one is to take the multiple Colexus assassins and put them out front, because almost everything in the list is a character. So it means you got to shoot at the closest.
Yep.
Colexus, you're only hitting on 6s.
Right.
So they're trying to mess up the
So assault
proliferation of las cannons, missile launchers,
Right.
low shot, high damage
It's-
kind of things.
You know what? There's peaks and valleys, right?
Absolutely.
With every meta.
Absolutely.
I know there was a period there where everybody was shitting on Magnus, and I disagreed. I don't think
Yeah.
Magnus is overpowered. I think he's
Yeah.
a good character, and you pay for what you get.
They should
I
be
think
shitting
that-
on him more now.
Yeah, he's got a little more power.
He's got
So
some
he's a
powers that really
challenge.
do him.
He's
Yeah.
a challenge, and you got to mitigate for that if you're playing against. You got to be ready for anything.
You have to be able to be ready to take on all comers.
Yep.
And that's really...
From what I've heard,
the
though, in
idea.
a lot of tournaments, he gets killed first or second turn because he does do so much damage.
Absolutely. And that's why I stopped using him as
And
my
I'm talking
warlord.
about like in the super competitive meta, like when we're talking like.
Oh, of course.
you know.
Even in our local meta,
Yep.
he gets targeted first.
Yeah.
People will not let him survive. So
Magnus?
Magnus,
Yeah.
I don't use him as my warlord anymore because of that. I just kind of fire him through their line like a cannonball, and wherever he stops and dies, great.
Yeah.
That's it.
He's done. He's
Yeah.
done damage.
He's done his
Yeah.
thing, and the rest of the army can kind of flow up behind and fill in the gaps.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But really, there wasn't anything groundbreaking in those erratas in the FAQs, just the usual tightening up that they've been doing, which is nice. They're very responsive. Keeping those screws tight. We don't want to have that 7th edition where the wheels fall off.
No. Exactly.
Now, we just had the announcement that we got Death Guard and AdMech coming up, and we saw, I mean, on the Warhammer community site, they're like, Death Guard preview, but it wasn't really a preview. They just talked about it.
It was
and then had a
saying,
photo
here's the
them
cover
up.
of the
Yeah.
book, and AdMech is also coming.
There's a bunch of new.
Here's a press photo.
Nurgle stuff in the.
Yeah, there is.
Death Guard stuff.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
like lots of
So
new
it's
models.
stuff to be excited about. Yeah.
Lots of sculpts. There's
Yeah.
new Terminators, which we saw in the photograph.
I
Obviously
think
more
two
Tyrion.
variants. I think I
Yeah.
saw a regular Terminator and like a Death Shroud, which is more of their close combat
That would be
bodyguard.
so
Cool.
cool. if
But
there
Are
was,
they
like, a close
big?
combat
Like how do they
combat.
compare to
They're big.
Primus?
They're probably going to be.
I'd say they're about the size of the Gravis.
Oh,
Very
the
cool.
Plague Marines are the exact same as what
Yeah, the
regular
Plague Marines are the
Primaries,
same
yeah.
size as Primaris.
So the Terminators
There's
are
going
have
to
a
be
little more.
there's going to be a shift over to the bigger range.
yeah.
There will be
right?
a scaling
and that's,
up in my
and that's
mind.
fine. That's
It'll
fine.
take a
You
few
can still
years,
use your
They
old
look
stuff.
so
Yeah.
good though.
They do
Like,
look so good.
I mean, I'm standing here being like, ugh, because I own like 40 metal Plague Marines. But
Yeah, Ben,
You know,
7
it's,
sword
honestly-
people
plates.
have a weird attachment with their models that like I paid $200 for this, like, but you know what? I paid $1,000 to go to a getaway weekend and drank a bunch with my buddies and played
Yeah.
golf or whatever.
Sure.
Like, and I don't think about it at all. But it's just because we have this physical thing, like it
Yeah.
has so much value. Like, no, man, it doesn't really.
It's true.
It's a
It's
hobby.
really
If you were
true.
into golf, you'd have to pay.
The
green
value is there
fees.
because
Yeah.
we assign it. The value.
Yeah, exactly. So just go with it, man. Just
Yeah.
accept that that's
Don't
part
be
of it. If you
upset
don't
about
like it,
your foot
Totally.
soldiers, have fun.
go play Monopoly.
Or Infinity.
But yeah, like those new models that came out, I really like them, and I even got some
New
because I'm
Typhus.
like I want to use
They're
these because they're really, and it's not fine cast, it's plastic. Like a lot of stuff's coming out now. Like the
I
Birthday
think-
Marine or
yeah.
whatever is plastic.
Yeah, I think from that preview picture that we saw there from all the Nurgle line, the Death Guard line, there was the two types of Terminators from what I saw. You would have the Plague Marine kit where it's not the snap fit, so you have more weapon options.
Yeah.
There was a Blight Drone kit.
With different guns?
And different weapon options,
Yes,
it looks like.
yeah.
Bloat Drone. Bloat Drone kit.
Yeah.
Blight Drones are the demon
Forge
guns.
World.
Yeah. There's
Plague,
It's
plaguety, plague,
Bleep,
plague,
blah,
plague.
bleep, bleep, blah.
Drone. What else was there? There was the tank, the Plague Crawler or
Yes,
whatever it was.
I'm calling it the Nurgle Lava because it's basically just a lava
the
on like
Nurgle lava.
yeah, it's like a big old orc lava sitting on a I don't know what the hell kind of chassis it is. It looks almost like a Chimera chassis, but it's not. It's like something else. It looks cool. It looks kind of weird to be honest. Like it's got to be artillery.
It is.
Yep.
It has to be.
It is. From the preview they were talking about a couple months ago, it would have been when they were first previewing it. They talked about it as an artillery.
Slap some
That's
cultists around it and let
Yeah.
it do its
Yeah.
work.
Poxwalkers.
Or I guess
The
Poxwalkers.
Poxwalkers,
Yeah,
Poxwalkers.
Poxwalkers are
Let them come back to life. The
Yeah.
Poxwalkers.
There are some events.
Absolutely.
Twin Eagles is coming up, and registration for that is on September 5th.
September the 5th.
Now,
We
we
don't know
also
the
got
exact date yet. It's
It's Tuesday, September the 5th,
Tuesday,
so
September
it'll be our
5th.
PvP day. It'll be our first PvP
we don't know
night.
what the exact date for Twin Eagles is yet. Oh,
Have you,
we do know. It's the 28th.
Have you decided if it's going to be 1K per player, like a 2v2?
1,000 points a
I
player.
think that is the smart decision.
Yeah.
Going to 1250 is just going to put too many kinks in
And
it.
you know what? There's a lot of talk about that with the new edition, but I found even at the expo, my games were going to time usually anyway. So I think we're
And
fine.
I think that's inexperience with
Nothing
a lot
really
of the rules
changed,
at
yeah.
this point.
It's great. 1,000 points is really good. And
Nice.
here's to 8th edition. You're still getting your games finished in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Even with 4 players at
Yeah,
2,000
exactly.
points. That was just unheard of.
Oh, yes. One of the things that has come up, of course, is for the tournaments, we have the Codex cutoff dates. Traditionally, it's been 30 days before the event. Whatever's been released is not valid.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're in that 30-day block, you don't have to worry about it at the event.
And all the events have been like that. We're talking Plains of War, previous Twin Eagles. Like it's always
Basically,
been
any
this
tournament
rule, yeah.
has been this way. The
And we
ones I
did
was at
indexes
haven't been.
only at the expo.
Now, what I think is going to happen is we're going to see a shift where instead of 30 days, you're going to see something closer to 2 weeks. The way the releases are coming now and the way the FAQs are coming, the information's very quick. People are getting a hold of that right away. If you no longer need that month to really adjust to it, you can kind of slip in a little easier, I think.
Plus, with like 7th and the rapid fire release rate of the last, we're adapting.
We're accustomed to
it's
this.
like you get something new. What does it do? What's the big bad thing? Do you need 2 weeks? What you need is 5 games against it, right? So get the games in if you really want to.
Volume
right?
of games, experience is the key. It always is for tournaments.
The best way to get better at this game is to play more games. I don't care what. You can read all the books you
have
want.
to. You really
play as
have
many
to.
games as possible.
Also, I think players are starting to learn now too with 8th edition, obviously because like when the first codexes came out and got FAQ'd immediately, everyone was like, "Ugh, but I'd already bought 1 fucking million Razorwing flocks," and it's like, no.
Yeah.
This is the game
Then
now.
you suck.
The book comes out, you read it, you learn it,
Yep.
wait
The
for
thing
the
is,
FAQ,
you know-
Yep.
then go buy the models.
Yeah.
This is what
Anybody
they
who's-
promised from the beginning.
Yeah.
This is what they told us before anything even hit. Like, they
Yeah.
were going to approach it like
Anybody
this.
who finds something that breaks the rules or manipulates things, like, first of all, fuck you. And second of all, you know that they're going to change it. They're going to adapt to it. So if you invest and like, oh, I bought all these things, like, well, sorry, man, it kind of sucks to be you.
Yeah.
And they're not even who's running actual Brimstone horse? It's like people with Cocoa Puffs on but you have actual Brimstone
I have
horse,
actual
so
Brimstone horse.
kudos
Yeah.
to you, right? But
One of the ones I saw in 7th edition that actually wasn't a bad conversion, someone bought a bunch of like the Dryad head parts.
oh yeah, and paid them
And
like
it
flames.
looks
Yeah,
like
that's
a,
cool.
a dancing flame,
That's
so it
it's
worked.
the rule of cool too, right? If
Right.
it looks good, then it's fine, right? If it looks stupid, then
A rule
get
of
outta
cool
here, right?
is overriding.
Like Ben
that's all.
says, what if the mortar tank shoots poxwalkers? That would be awesome.
That would be very, very
Yeah.
appropriate for
Yes.
the current scene.
You could fire like D3 poxwalkers into another unit.
He's also got a
Here you go.
He's also asking about the AdMech Codex. If it was released early enough, would it be allowed?
If it's released before 2 weeks
It should
before
have
the
made the
event.
30-day cut
Yeah.
being released in September. And
Yeah, so
then
that'd be
renewals being
4
at the
weeks.
end. So even a 2-week, 14-day cutoff, we'll have plenty.
Probably.
Oh, are we doing a 2-week cutoff?
I think we're doing I think
It's
we're
being
switching to
talked
2
about
weeks.
right
It's being
now.
discussed.
Cool.
Yeah.
It seems fair. That's what we're saying is that we can adapt. 2 weeks is reasonable.
I don't
It's
think
not like,
it's
oh
putting any
no, I can't
imposition.
read a book in 2
Yeah.
weeks. Like,
Although I have
Figure
to
it out.
say, I have played against some people that haven't read their index.
Ideally, all of the codexes would be released, and we would all have a codex for each of our armies. But unfortunately, that's
Then
not
they'd
the
be
reality.
complaining
Maybe-
about how much money they're trying to make off
Yeah.
us by dumping it all
Maybe
at once.
one
It's a
element we should
no-win.
consider is only play FAQ'd books. Like if something comes out 2 weeks on
Yeah,
the
that's
nose
a-
and
that's
has
a
some
consideration.
stupid like crazy
And they haven't
combo in it.
FAQ'd it. Maybe that's something to consider.
Ben, the community page talked about it being released later in
Right.
September.
Interesting.
So you should be fine.
Things to consider.
You should be fine.
Let us consider those
Let
things.
us consider those
Hey,
items.
don't consider these
We
things.
also have another event coming up locally that we should give a shout out to.
Yeah,
In Brandon
the
this
boyos in
weekend,
Brandon.
they are doing Clash of the Furballs. Now, this is being
It's a
put
good
on
cause.
by Jason and Homer, who are two of the more experienced players out in
As
Brandon.
usual, they're also big game organizers. down
They
there.
are excellent for doing the organization out there. They've really been on top of it and keeping that scene reinvigorated, getting the newer folks going.
Brandon's eastward, right?
Brandon is west of us.
Westward. Okay, so we can call them the West Side TOs.
They're the West Side TOs. There you go.
Recognized.
Clash of Furballs is a charity event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So half of each of the entry fees is going towards the local humane society, which has always had
for
issues
them.
with fundraising.
Good for you guys.
I used to live in Brandon, and there were always fundraisers going on for it.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I think last week too, where it's like strictly donations only. Like they don't get like a
Yeah.
per diem from
Yeah.
the government or
Exactly.
anything. Like
Yeah.
really, if you can't bring cash, bring some food. Something like make a
Anything.
donation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a heart.
Now, there are still 2 spots open for this event. I was tentatively looking at going in, but unfortunately, I am watching a couple little furballs that weekend.
Hey, look at that. How much is registration? Do we know?
$20 registration.
$20
for the event.
okay.
And again, half goes towards their cost, half is going towards
Right.
the
Okay.
donation.
Did we mention that earlier and I missed that?
No, just said that they were
Okay,
splitting it. I
good.
didn't specify the amount.
I almost-
There are still 2 spots open right now. Yes, Jason, having lived in Brandon, I know that the highway is only one way. It goes Brandon to Winnipeg. It doesn't go Winnipeg to Brandon.
As someone who
You
didn't
can get
live
there
in
by
Brandon-
canoe, though, I hear.
Yeah. No, that was always the joke, was that the people from Brandon would be willing to take the trips out to Winnipeg, but the ones here would be like, it's just Brandon.
Two- 2-day
Same
car
with-
drive,
Same with
or-
Winnipeg to Vancouver.
How
Right?
many, would that be like a 24-hour walk? What would that be?
To Brandon?
Yeah.
Oh God, no! It'd
It's
be
just
longer
under
than that.
200 kilometers, so it
Yeah.
depends how fast you can walk an hour.
Well, how fast you can walk an hour? I like that term. I guess if you jogged, what is like a kilometer jogging? What, like 15
I
minutes?
Can't even
No
begin
bend,
to
no idea.
conceptualize thinking about that. No,
No, I'm sorry.
So let's say
get a moped.
if you jog, it's going to take you
Look, if you can walk-
3,000 minutes.
If you
to
can
catch
walk
a
at 3
Brandon.
kilometers an hour, you're going to be there in about 8, 7.
Yeah, 6 inches a turn. Well, how long is a turn?
Ninth
Holy crap.
edition.
Yeah. Oh, man. Anyway, don't walk, drive, go to Brandon.
But yeah,
You can fly.
I have to say, the couple times we've gone out to events in Brandon, I've been incredibly impressed with the guys out there. They've got
Yeah.
a good setup, that I want that stuff, which I think is where it's taking place. I'm assuming. I don't have it
Yep.
on me.
Yep.
There we go. I want that stuff. Wonderful venue.
I went to a tournament out there. All the guys in Brandon that I met were wonderful guys. Good
Yes.
guys. Good.
Yes.
Yeah, and for the record, the rabbits in Brandon are like freaks. It's insane.
Oh, our
they're like,
jacks?
yeah, I
Yeah.
saw like a flock of them go by when we were smoking outside, and I was like, "What in the fuck are those things? Like they look like
Brandon
dogs.
rabbit.
They're huge. They're like this big. It's like a massive
He's
rabbit.
not really exaggerating.
Their back
Nice.
legs look like if you stretched it out, it'd be like a meter.
That's
stick.
because they're not like rabbits, they're hares.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
huge. Like you could feed a family of 6 with one of those things.
All right. So you
Twin
heard it here
Eagles-
first. You got lunch.
Twin
Couple
Eagles is a
days,
no Lord
yeah.
of War event, Logan.
Yeah, no Lords,
No Lords
of
of War.
War. Is there a flyer ban or no?
No,
Okay.
Flyers
No,
is
just
good.
good.
Flyers is
flyers
good.
are fine. Just boots
Yeah,
on the ground.
only reason
right?
I asked is because that Caligari Crusade mission we just did was no flyers, no lows.
That was because
Right.
it was the specific.
That was part of the
Right.
thing.
Yeah, that was a narrative.
Yeah, it's like when 8th came out, it became very obvious flyers were powerful, and
Yes.
like I learned that big time against John and
Yep.
Dale,
Yep.
because Dale brought pretty
Sweet.
much just and you
Yep.
guys had flyers, so like
Yep.
honestly,
They're
I
powerful.
wasn't
You know,
sure if they were
Logan,
going
I
to go in
think
that
They
They
same
balance
balanced
it.
it.
category. But
Fine
Five,
to it without
five
Lord
flyers
War
is
has lost
getting
the
silly.
yeah, oh totally, yeah, and you can't just play only flyers.
Yeah, and Games Workshop balanced it. I
Not
think they did.
anymore.
What?
That you can't play Flyers or only Flyers. When the Nexus first came out, yeah, it was good. Then they did the balance.
And they did the boots on
And
the
now
ground.
they've got a second balance coming as soon as chapter approved hits.
Where they're going to be like, now you can again play with flyers.
No, actually, now they won't be able to hold objectives, which they
Oh, okay.
currently are able to, even though they're flying.
Yeah,
around.
but I think ITC is already implementing that, and ITC is already implementing troops are going to be objective secured because it's going to happen with all the
and the
Texas
plus
anyways.
one to the roll if you finish deploying first,
Yeah,
as
plus
opposed
one
to
to roll,
straight
yeah.
going
Is
first.
Twin
Yeah.
Eagles going to have ITC rules? Or okay.
So we will be
Twin
following
Eagles will be
ITC
playing by
restrictions.
ITC restrictions.
Cool.
Make sure to check the site, Frontline Gaming, look up what the restrictions are.
Yep.
Because it's on you guys to be educated for these things. There's a certain amount
Well,
of...
if you don't and your
Yeah.
opponent's right, then you end up losing. You could lose
Right.
a game over
You're
it,
putting
right?
yourself in a
So
disadvantageous
it
position.
behooves you to look up those rules.
Behoove yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Check those rules out.
Logan, if you wait until Planes of War, you'll be able to bust those out no problem. Any of the singles events as well, we generally are good with the Lords of War. It's the doubles ones where it makes it really unbalanced games.
Just wait for POW, Logan. Just wait for POW. And you can be like, bow. Bring those knights
Yes,
up.
I would argue it's not actually holding it because it's still in the air and circling me.
And I also guarantee you, Logan, unless you do something freaky with your facial hair again, now that I know your 2 choices, I will recognize you. So
You should do the monkey tail, where you do this and you just grow it like that, and then the
that
back
is
completely bare.
unbelievably
Oh, I
sick.
love-
I've
that's
never
great.
even.
Monkey
Is that
tail.
a real thing?
It's a real thing right now.
Oh
I
man!
want to see next monkey tail gets a free model from Steve. Next guy to have
Good
it.
model or...
I'll paint it up, whatever you want.
All
Hey,
right.
Kyle, you
If
look
somebody
like you could have
rocks
enough there
a
to make
monkey
a
tail
monkey tail.
to a tournament.
Problem is, this is the extent of my facial hair.
Oh, we got to go to a bar after. We got to go to a bar after.
And you got to wear the monkey tail on
And you
the
got to
town,
wear the
yeah.
monkey tail.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
One
the
single
challenge.
infantry. I'm not buying you a knife.
Yes, strafing runs hurt.
Monkey
I need a
tail,
Morgan
They're not
monkey tail
holding an
challenge.
objective. Sorry, Ben.
It's on.
I'm actually curious, producer Scott, where the hell you found this, because I thought that this was lost forever. There you
It was
have
in the
it.
kink bag. What else is in the kink bag?
It's probably some Slaanesh ladies.
You know, I
All
used
right.
to work at a store and we had a kink bag, but I don't think I can talk about it on air.
Well, you kind of did, so why don't we get into that?
Yeah, what happened to the
Yeah,
kink bag?
actually, that was probably my favorite
Where'd
job.
you
Was
work?
working. It was at a place in Brandon called Pillow Talk.
Oh, nice.
Shout out.
So is that like a...
I worked at adults.
It was an adult store.
Oh, okay.
It was an adult store for sure. Yeah.
I just watch porn.
You know, I got to rent to the vendors who would come in and get like their week's worth of releases, and then next week they'd come back and return them and buy the next stack. We had guys who would come in to fill in parts of their collection.
You ever have a guy come in and be like, "You got anything with more poop?"
Yes, Dan. Yes.
Oof. Woof.
I ran the gamut. I used to work the 4 to midnight shift.
Yeah.
I started at 4. I closed out the shop.
Well, we're learning a lot right now.
Cool.
And
Okay.
of course, we
Open
do have to
gaming.
plug our big sponsor.
Yeah, we should probably say a couple words though in between, like so my poop isn't right against the sponsor.
Let's give a boat buffer.
Infinity.
Infinity 40K AOS.
I'm gonna puke at your work, Devin. I've promised it for days and months and weeks.
Open gaming here on the 5th.
Absolutely.
September 5th.
This is going to be the first open gaming here at PvP, our second event total if you count the 40 Below Expo, which absolutely counts. I'm very excited about it. We're going to have 8 tables open for 40K. Please remember to make reservations as we did at Reset if you want to have a table guaranteed.
Yeah.
You have to email us and do a PayPal deposit of $10, which you receive again at the end of the night.
Also, some people don't realize that there's two. Like I used to work in restaurants, you know, for ages. Seatings. So essentially, the first wave comes, plays their games earlier. If you get off work at like 6 o'clock, you can still
do
come
have
and
a
play.
second round.
Yeah, you just got to play after the first games have been done.
Generally, 8 o'clock is when we aim for that. About 5:30 is the first one. Around 8 for the second one.
Yeah.
There is a lot of options, so don't feel that you're missing out if you get off work at
Yeah,
6,
don't be
6:30,
discouraged.
7.
Just let them know so you're going to come for second wave. And,
Now,
and
I also happen to know that some of the Infinity guys are making plans to bring down tables. So if you're interested in checking that out, you've got the opportunity. You're going to see some of those there, and everyone is very open for questions. So
Yeah.
please, if you're interested at all, dive in, ask.
What can you guys tell me about Hidden City?
okay.
Well, Hidden City,
City
good
Comics.
sir.
Fantastic place. If you like comic books or anything else, Hidden City is the place for you. They got a 13% discount off on all Games Workshop stuff.
Do you have
and
to pay
Infinity, I
tax?
believe.
Well,
No.
no.
That would just
That completely
save
eliminates
that right
the
off
taxes.
there. Yeah.
And then, of course, we have been starting our tradition of Friday gaming at Hidden City.
Yeah.
Probably since 8 started, I would say. We've
Yeah.
really been pushing hard there.
Rory's basement used to be the place to be, and then it kind of got a little bit too big for its britches. Some
did it
people
ever.
fell off in 8th edition, and we're just kind of making Hidden City our home base. Like
Absolutely.
you can play any game system there. There's usually people playing Magic there and wearing rave pants, but you
George
don't
is
have to deal with
incredibly
that.
welcoming.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's very willing to keep up with us on any of the orders that you want to do. Just make it easy on him and bring like a picture on your phone or something of the exact spelling so he knows what he's looking at.
Yep.
And that's all that he asks.
Yeah,
Would just
he's,
be an honest
he's a
mistake.
guy who owns the store. He doesn't play every single game system in there, so
Yeah.
help him out as much as you can. But he does have access to all that product.
Now, interesting thing is he tends to close about 8 o'clock, but he lets that second half of the store stay. The gaming area
Yeah.
stays open.
Yep.
There's some guys with keys who are able to close it out. So, 11:30, midnight, we've been there. Lots of opportunity to get in and play, even if you feel like, oh, he's
And
closing at 8, I can't get it.
Producer Scott, what's the address on Watt Street for Hidden City?
714 watts?
Yeah, so
Google it.
have a look on Google. Yeah, Hidden
Corner
City
of Watt and
Comics.
Everybody has Google. Hidden City Comics.
They're our primary sponsor. Awesome people, and we're not just saying that because they're a sponsor. Like legit, we do play
Legitimately,
there.
he is actually
Yeah.
a decent guy.
We go there
I would
every
have to
Friday,
say,
yeah.
I'm more than willing to take my business to him because of the way
he's
he's
actually the
treated
only
us.
person I'll buy from in the city now. That's
Yeah.
how good a guy is.
It's actually worked out to where it was just good that he sponsored us, but
Yeah.
we're just playing games there anyways. So,
Yeah.
it's
It
yeah.
worked out really well. He has also been willing to help us with Infinity orders. We don't get as solid a discount as you guys do on the 40K stuff because, a different system.
Yeah.
However, again, you go in with what you want to order, you go in with the information, and he will put the order through. Usually takes about a week. I have items that I'm supposed to be getting on Friday, but I'll be delayed a few days on the payment.
So, yeah. Anywho,
But
Well,
that is our
thanks,
sponsor. and-
thanks for popping my cherry, guys.
yeah, no
Oh,
problem. It was a lot less
anytime.
messy than it could have been.
Actually, I have to
I've
say,
had
for a
messier
cherry
first
pop,
dates, that's for sure.
wasn't that bad.
It's a pleasure to have you, Steve. Steve and I are going to be tag teaming Oh, someone's shushing his friend. All right, so yeah, Steve and I are going to be tag teaming the off days when Kyle and Fabio aren't
One
here.
week you're going to have Steve and Dan. Second week it's going to be Fabio and myself. We're going to have crossover sometimes like we're seeing today. It's going to be good. It's
Yeah, it's going
Happy
to
to
be a
be here.
spicy meatball.
It's,
you know
it's
what
a
I mean?
special meatball.
Motherfucker.
Spicy meatball.
Anywho, as we should with every episode, do our little
yes,
sign-off
I don't
here.
know. We've got
You
two
say
sign-offs
yours.
here. You guys go through yours. I'll do
Okay,
mine.
do you remember the one that Rory and I did?
No.
If you're not having fun, you're cheating.
Oh,
Okay,
no, I
so
don't know, man.
Here we go.
I didn't watch other episodes.
Anyway,
I don't even know where I.
Well,
Put that
is
on.
it
What
a
the hell is
catchphrase?
this?
that's your ending. That's your
All right.
sign-off.
Cool.
I thought this was a CTV morning show. Okay, so we'll just do it. We can even come up with a new
Sure.
one now.
We'll come up with a new one on the fly.
Yeah, so the new one is 3, 2, 1.
Don't
If
leech
you
your meatloaf.
like dogs, email us.
If you're rolling ones, you're not cheating.
We'll see you next week.
Don't leech your meatloaf.
Like dogs, email us.
If you're rolling ones, you're not cheating.
We'll see you